Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay, Shalom Biggie. Hello, Jay.
Hey guys.
How are you, my friend?
Quite well, thank you.
Doing all right?
Yeah, I like the Arnold Roofing hoodie.
Yeah, you like that?
It's beautiful.
They couldn't record commercials, but they could bring me a hoodie. I liked it. I just can't wash it. If I wash it, it shrinks just enough that it doesn't fit anymore.
Just don't dry it. Hang it.
Yeah, easier said than done.
No, you don't hang stuff. Just everything in the dryer.
How is that easier said than done? I mean, all you have to do is take it out.
I know. It's a pretty stupid thing to say, but whatever. I just usually just throw everything in the wash, and then I take everything out and throw everything in the dryer, and then throw it on the heat as high as it can go for as long as it can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so everything comes out like this big. I got a little dainty tees, and yeah, I'm not real good at that stuff. Anyway, decent weekend. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah, it was great. Oh my gosh, I was out on the pitch all day. What a beautiful day to be out on the pitch.
Sure. I got out of the house as well.
Yeah.
Not happy about that. Yeah, I had another home viewing. What fucking,
Forced you out?
What man schedules a home showing Sunday on a football Sunday at 3:00 in the afternoon? Granted, there was no Lions game, but
So,
still,
yeah, why does it matter?
Well,
I
don't know.
I mean, if you think about it, like,
because it means I got to leave.
okay.
I gotta clean.
Premier
and
League games
leave.
are done. It's time to
Yeah.
go see some houses. Is what he
Sure.
probably thought.
Right, exactly.
They took forever, man. It's one of those where it's like, all right, it's been about 40 minutes. You guys want to fuck out of here? Got
Don't you
stuff to
like
do.
that when they take a long time though?
I
Because then that
guess.
shows they have some interest.
I guess I was
The
irritated.
last
Jay.
thing you want is, they're done. 5 minutes in.
5
All right,
minutes in,
fuck.
leave.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe they'll make an offer.
They must have loved it so much they got to run to their person and call
Yeah.
my agent to
Maybe.
make a huge offer. We'd like to we're over asking price, please, if you wouldn't mind. But no, I went to Camellia's, little Mexican restaurant there on Orchard Lake, south of 13.
Not familiar.
Yeah, it's good. But I had to kill an hour and a half, so I'm just like, I haven't eaten yet. I'll just go there and bring a few of my stories, do some highlighting while I'm sitting there, and have a nice little meal or something. And dude, I get to that fucking intersection at 13 and Orchard, and there's just a couple cars, and then like I don't know, $200,000 Mercedes, one of the 8 Series giant things, and then me. And light turns green, and it's one of those, okay, we've got a left turn lane here. It's going to be a limited amount of time. And so first car, gone. Second car, gone. Mercedes, he starts going. And then it's like, starts creeping way too far into the left lane, and then overcorrects into the right lane. Now we're going about 4 miles an hour. And then goes way too far into the intersection before realizing, this is a left turn lane. I got to turn. And then turns into the far right lane, but overcorrects. And then
Is he an older gentleman?
Creeps into the left lane and then to the right. And I'm like, what the fuck is driving this thing? And I just pull up right next, and it's just Knuckles and what looks like a Muppet with black glasses. This fucking 900-year-old decrepit fucking old man driving this 200. It's like, who is allowing this man to take this car out? He's literally driving the one car he can't kill himself in.
Well, you're allowed to drive until there's an issue. That's the thing, right?
There's an issue.
There's no
See
speed-
something, say something. I'm saying something. There's an old man that's going to kill people out
Could you
there.
do that? Could you get a license
Get
plate?
his plate, report him.
And call up
Sure.
and say, well, no, but like the problem is you could. It's just your word. I mean, then I could call left and right, just call license plates and go, yo,
Reporting people.
right. This guy
Yeah, but
sucks.
if
Reporting
there's
erratic
enough,
driving.
if there's enough,
Could certainly report that.
yeah. But it's like all I could think was, this guy's driving such a dope car, an expensive car that probably no one in the family wants to disrupt whatever the will says.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no way we're taking the keys
I know
from
what's
Pop.
going on here.
Yeah, this seems like a fucking will grab. Just keep it together. Yeah, Pop. Go. Yep, run to the corner, fill the tank up.
Maybe something will happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just so scary. It's like, you see someone like swerve in a lane at midnight. It's like, drunk driver on the road, get him off the road, throw his ass in jail, fine him for everything, give him all the points you can give him. But then you got this fucking decrepit ancient things just rolling around us all the time, and everyone's like, oh, isn't that adorable? No, it's not adorable.
What to do with our elderly? They used to be useful human beings.
This was so far beyond a human being. What I saw driving there was a paper mache. All that was like paper mache. They just put some glasses on some paper mache and taught it how to drive, sorta.
Well, I've always thought like you have to have a hardcore license to become a truck driver, right? You got to go through the class and the studies, and they, write your log books and make sure you only drive like 8 hours at a time. But then some 80-year-old can just walk into the RV dealer and be like, "Yep, give me a 100-foot RV," and just drive on out.
Yeah, it's-
going down to Florida.
What is the knock against that? I mean, is it elder abuse? Is it age discrimination? Is that what the claim is? If you got some 80-year-old that clearly does not belong behind the wheel, and are there a few heroes out there that go, you know what? That was a close call I had today. I'm hanging the keys up. I just don't belong on the road.
It's hard, man. I mean, that's a hard thing to do, to take keys away from somebody.
That's your independency.
I know.
Jenna, you know what it's like? You didn't have a car for the last week. I mean,
Right, exactly.
you were at the mercy of your mother, for Christ's sakes.
For sure.
And Ed
exactly.
Grabo.
Exactly.
Nice
Grabo.
ride sitting out there,
Oh,
though,
thank you,
Jesus.
thank you.
Yeah.
I saw it. I took a gander.
That's not bad. I got
Gave it a
lucky.
walk around. It's
Yeah.
very clean.
Really?
The interior is unbelievable.
Wow, there was a
clean.
lot of work done on Saturday.
Yeah, how
on
long is
that
it going to
thing.
remain that way, Jesus?
Yeah, I was
I'm
just
gonna
going to say,
try-
should we take bets?
You know what? I'm gonna try with this one. I think.
Everybody says that when they get a new
Okay,
car.
I know, but I don't. I've never said that before. I've never said it, but I'm not saying it's gonna do good. I'm just saying I'm going to try. I think I'm gonna make an effort to not just have like.
Jay, is the
Stain.
first thing to get stuck in there a hot and ready? Is that
That's
what
the
ends up in
that
there
is
first?
that is the problem. The hot and readies are the problem.
Crumpled up Taco Bell bag just
Yeah.
shoved in the corner.
I
Yeah.
know.
I will say though, the back bumper looks like somebody just shaved their mustache. It looks just barren. You know,
Really?
it needs something.
Oh my God!
It
Do
needs
we
a
have,
Huey Lewis and a
No,
rat.
it doesn't.
I might have an REO Speedwagon left,
There you go.
perhaps.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Maybe I might have an REO
I'm
Speedwagon
gonna
left.
take
I'll
it
check.
off if you put it on.
on the
I'm not
5-door
keeping it-
Focus.
Hell yeah!
I'm keeping it barren.
No, it looks
I
good
think.
out there. You probably paid a pretty penny
You know,
for that son of a bitch. I can tell.
I got a good deal.
Did you?
But you know the thing, you say that though, you say like, I got used to it. Like, I was thinking about that. So I was technically, last Wednesday, the doctor said I could drive. She said, you know, I'd made enough progress. You can go.
Fucking nails.
Yeah.
God damn, it's
I
amazing.
can't believe it. I mean, really, like 2 weeks out, like the difference even from like a week out to, because a week out was before I went to Pat Green. And then from my next thing was a week later. And it was just really a huge difference. Anyway, she said I could drive, but I still had to get the car ready and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to go until Saturday. And even then, I went with my dad, actually.
Yeah.
You know, go with me a little bit. We drove my newer one around and had him go with me. But I was thinking about it, like, you know, I hadn't probably had a time before I could drive that I would have gone 2.5 weeks without driving it, right? Like, you just wouldn't go that long unless you had a surgery or something.
No.
And so it was a bizarre thing to, like, spend 2.5 weeks without driving, then kind of back on the road. Like, today I actually went to see a movie by myself, and that was the first time I drove by myself in it. And it was
Were
like,
you scared?
no, but it was just, you know, I think I was at appreciation for the ability that I could drive,
Yeah.
the ability that
Yeah.
I could sit there and go, fuck, I'm going to go to this. Like,
So
I almost got a
that's why these old people stay
Yeah.
at it,
Yeah.
you know? Because
Yeah.
they're probably like, you know what? Joni and Johnny, if you'd come over more, then I wouldn't have to go
Yeah.
get my groceries, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
and
that's
so they
true.
probably throw it back at their family that way. Their family feels guilty, and there they are on the road at 93.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it really is. You know, the more I think about it, it is one of those things where I don't know how you'd say it, but like you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? When that ability was taken away from you.
Yeah, no, I thought about it today.
You gain a new appreciation for the driver's license.
I had the window down, and I was like, like I said, we can talk about it, but I went and saw the Joker. But like, I was driving, and I was just like, fuck yes, I'm driving. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
like a big
I wanted
boy.
to go, and I could go.
You saw the Joker. You saw Joker alone. That
Yeah.
seems twisted to me, doesn't it?
a little bit.
Doesn't
Well,
seem
my
like you should
family
go.
wasn't. My family wasn't gonna. My mom would.
I don't know, man.
I don't know anyone.
Like you're watching that movie, you look over and there's that guy sitting alone over there
his
watching
popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
did
don't
get my
know,
popcorn.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How
Well,
was it, huh?
I saw it over the weekend as well.
Yeah.
we can talk
Yeah,
about it.
T-Roy and I went on a Friday night, Thursday, Friday night, whatever it was, and saw it. What'd you think, E? Were you terrified? Were
you
you
know what's the-
triggered?
you know
Because I
what's-
know a lot of people were triggered.
Here's the thing. I tried to decide if I got fooled, by the way, into going. I wanted to go anyway, but on Saturday I started reading those things online, people saying like, "Oh, it was so dark that people were walking out of theaters," and I said to myself, you know, maybe I should. I already wanted to go anyway, so I should go so I could talk about it on the show. Was it this bad? And then when I was sitting in the theater, I was like, was I fucking played? Did the
Yeah.
fucking company put out news articles saying it was so bad that people were walking out that made me want to go see it even more?
Bugs Bunny logic.
Well, that's kind of what I thought, because I was reading those same articles over the weekend. In fact, I have one in my hand, and it was like, I asked Troy later. I was like, "Hey, man, did you think that movie was that violent or that depraved and that like grim?" And he's like, "No, why?" And I was like, "I didn't
I mean,
really
it was
either,
dark
but
for sure.
well, yeah. I mean, but everybody knew that,
right.
You know, the stories, Joker is continuing to stir controversy at its opening weekend after some fans stormed out of theater.
What did they think it was gonna be?
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
what
like
I'm wondering.
your typical
Like,
CGI
I mean,
superhero movie. I don't know.
But we saw, like, if you saw the trailer, it was very obvious it was going to be about him and, like, kind of how he became to be this
How he
messed up.
unravels.
Right.
yeah, I mean, and that was the whole thing. It's not CGI. It's more of a psychological thriller, and it's violent.
I fucking loved it, by the way.
I did too. I thought it was great. And, you know, I was talking to Derek. Derek was over the weekend watching the Michigan game over here, and he'd seen it, and he loved it. And he's a big comic, but you remember Jay. I mean, he's got cases and cases and cases of comics that he's got double wrapped. He still has them all, including some really valuable ones that he's kept.
Nice.
But he was like, dude,
Where's he live again?
he was like, the Joker, if you followed the comics at all, that movie was nothing. The Joker's been a fucking psychopath, like the most despicable, twisted, evil, you know, guy like throughout the history of comics. I'm sure our comic book nerds will dispute that. Oh, Gleek was worse, blah, blah, whatever. But Derek was like, dude, he's a maniacal, twisted fuck. I mean, in one, he was telling me how he, like, found out who Robin's mother was and kidnapped her and then convinced Robin to come over to the warehouse where he had Robin's mother tied up and then proceeds to beat the dog shit up to within an inch of Robin's life. And then is like, yeah, if you can get yourself up and untie your mom and get out of this building, you can live. And then leaves. And so Robin, like, busted legs, all fucked up, finally sets his mom free and then gets to the shed or whatever to unlock it. And the thing's locked.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
boom, the whole thing explodes, killing Robin and his mom.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that kind of
Robin
shit.
died. I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't know if he came back to life or what.
I mean, the other thing is that this was the first movie. I don't see a lot of, like, horror movies. I don't know. I don't see a lot of, like, I don't know, these type of movies that are rated R that maybe don't just have, like, sexual jokes or something like that. And so it was the first movie that I was thinking, like, when I watched it, I was like, what is the age that a kid should watch this at? And I definitely would say, like, 18 or older. Like, I don't know what rated R means, but I would not bring, like, a 15-year-old kid to see this movie. And I also was thinking, like, I liked it, but, like, I wouldn't want someone on the fence mentally to watch this. Like, if,
Yeah, but you could say that about so many things.
Maybe
man.
so, maybe
you
so.
You really could. You wouldn't want them to watch Goodfellas. You wouldn't want someone
No,
mentally
I wouldn't say the
unstable
same
to watch.
about Goodfellas.
Really?
Well, oh, no. Well, not a mentally disturbed person. I could see a person on the fence with mental issues watching this and think, this could be a thing.
See, I
could
took
do
something
this.
totally different because the things that are coming out. And by the way, this is doing really well. I don't know what the weekend numbers are. We're obviously-
39.
Yeah, like $39 million on Friday alone in America. And so the estimate is like 92 million it'll smash box office records for October releases. Not everyone is embracing this dark film, though. One fan wrote on Twitter,
One
fan
on
wrote.
Twitter.
literally just walked out of a screening of Joker. Way too terrifying to be there with all this going on. The way the movie glamorizes gun violence and mental health
It doesn't
issues.
do that.
Others have gone as far as calling for the movie to be banned from theaters. We want to ban it. This is great news for this movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's why I went this morning.
It promotes violence. It could even inspire a mass shooting. Well, so could lots of your team losing in the finals could you know, cause someone to go, fuck it, I'm taking the whole world out. You know, you never know. It's a movie, people. Thus far, there have been no reports of violence at screenings. They have upped security. There have been a couple isolated disruptions. I hope you were not one of them.
I wasn't.
I was not. In Huntington Beach, California, one theater canceled 2 screenings after someone called in, I'm going to kill everyone there or something. In New York City, police responded to a screening after one audience member sparked fears by spitting on others and clapping loudly every time the Joker killed someone.
So 4 times?
Yeah. Police escorted the man out of the theater. A witness said, by the way, I saw him pour a whole fifth of tequila into a slushie before the movie started.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay. Some fans unprepared. And how do you go to this movie unprepared for what you're about to see? For the movie's dark intensity, took to Twitter to reveal that they had walked out of screenings, just walked out of #Joker, haven't been that anxious in a movie theater since Good Time. I don't know what that means. Fuck, man. I've never walked out of a movie, but with Joker, I came very close. Would have walked out of Joker after an hour if the missus would have let me. #don't do it, folks.
Wow, grow a pair and leave, you fucking queer.
Dude.
Like, why?
You went on Twitter and said you would have left this movie if the missus would have let you. You fucking... Ma'am, that's who you're married to.
What a pussy.
That's
Like,
the man that's going to protect you when holy hell rains down.
There's a lot wrong with that tweet.
There's a lot wrong.
And by the way, he didn't leave. Like, that's the thing. I want to let everyone know that I would have, but I didn't.
I came
Like,
close.
okay.
My manhood almost rose to the level of being able to take my own ass out of a seat and walk out if the little ball and chain, the little misses would have allowed it.
Does it say who that Twitter guy is? I wouldn't mind finding who that guy is.
No, it doesn't.
Oh my
So
God.
can we assume that there's every single viewpoint on the spectrum of viewpoints that could be expressed on Twitter are expressed on Twitter?
Yeah.
And so
Sure.
whatever somebody wants
See,
to write,
I-
they grab, right?
I
This
could-
guy on Twitter.
Yeah, if it was me, if I wrote a tweet, that would have been Eric Fady says the movie's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. Loved it. You
Yeah,
know what
but
I
see,
mean?
I'm not going to waste your guys' time reading. Hey, man, just saw Joker. Man, the thing was fucking awesome. Well, see you later.
Oh,
Hashtag Joker.
either is anyone writing it, right? I mean, they want clicks. Like, holy shit, what's going on with this Joker movie?
I almost tweeted. I almost did. I didn't, but I almost did. Said, if Joaquin Phoenix does not win an Oscar for this performance, then fuck you, Academy. Hashtag Academy. I would have hashtagged him. Or at the Academy, whatever it is.
Well, the Oscar's so white, though, Mike. I mean,
I know. He's white and straight. I don't give a shit this time around. I don't care that he's white and straight. He's fucking brilliant. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing.
by the way,
dude.
I've never seen this movie, but someone said I haven't. The closest I came to walking out since what is that? Good Time.
Yeah, I just looked it up too. It's a bank robber.
But it's like-
stops at nothing to free his brother from prison,
Hmm.
launching himself into a night-long odyssey through New York's dark and dangerous criminal underworld. I've never heard of that.
Also,
either.
it was in 2017, so they all. I mean, they
You
all
know,
just
was
how
this
many
the
times-
director of Good Time that wrote this tweet?
Like-
Is that what we just stumbled in here? He wanted free plugs for his shitty movie,
John
Good Time?
Safdie.
To say
Is that who
that
you're
you
referring
haven't, you almost like this, you haven't walked out since like sounds like you probably come close to walking out of movies. Like that was only two years ago. I think I've maybe walked out of a movie once or twice in my whole life, if I have. Like,
Rotten Tomatoes, 92%. Good Time.
If I didn't see Joker with a friend, and this is the danger you risked.
Uh-oh.
If I didn't see Joker with a friend, I probably would have walked out of the theater thinking someone should tell Trump to shut up. Okay, I want that person put on a list.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, that so doesn't make
So
sense.
their friend being there.
And by the way, everybody tells Trump to shut up. What are you talking about?
I,
I walked out of this movie, hashtag Joker, ban this movie. It's a psychological approach on the mind. I was rooting for him until shit got real. Oh, man. Oh, so it had twists and turns you didn't see coming? Wow. You know what it said to me? Because this whole thing of like, it's glorifying violence and it's glorifying mental health. You know what I think it does, society? I think the point of this movie should be taken as, you know what it did? It put a giant mirror in front of all of our faces.
100%, dude.
That, you know what? This is how people are treated. This is the potential outcome when you treat people like they're lesser than, that clearly are a little unbalanced, and you can see them unwinding and unraveling more and more, and you pick on those people, you beat those people up, you steal their shit, you fucking take away their services, you take away their access to health care, you don't get them any help. That's what it's showing you. So
Dude,
for you to
that's
take
a-
it like, this is glorifying mental health, well, maybe it's just showing you what society's actually like to a lot of people.
That's 100% what I got out of it. By the way, like where it starts off, the time that I don't know. Should we worry about spoilers? I don't know, but
Well, I don't want to give
Okay,
spoilers away, but you can, I mean, he's obviously picked on through.
right. That's the thing. I was saying to my parents, which is funny because my dad, ever since I've been an intern, my dad does not understand like the notion of like just expressing my life through some of this stuff. Like I was telling him that that's what I thought. Like I started watching this and I said, obviously I didn't get to any level of this point, but it was pretty rough for me for a long time. And I'm glad I went into the Montessori that I did. And my dad was like, I wouldn't share that part with them. Sure, you don't have to tell them about being picked on. I'm like, Dad, that's the fucking point of the thing.
Yeah.
But like the point is like exactly what you said, dude.
I mean,
Him
and that's been therapeutic for you in a way.
it's 100% has been. But his getting picked on, like I get when they say like you're not glorifying it. Like him being just fucking taken advantage, they just getting destroyed his whole life. And in the subway where it comes down to this point, and he gets at these people, it's like, dude, what's gonna happen? You pick on someone, you make fun of him. We all pretend that we're supposed to sit here and go bullying, hashtag no bullying. That's not what people do, though.
Yeah.
People make fucking fun of people that are different. They make fun of people that have issues. I know that's never going to go away, but that's not what this movie did. It
No.
did what you said it did.
Yeah, it should have anyways. It should have gone.
That's
it should
exactly
it
the
should
message
have
I
make
got.
you. It should make you think, because it made me think like, you know what? If people would just subscribe to what Jay/Brett has talked about for so long, Can you just be nice to one another? Can you,
Just generally.
generally, I'm not saying
You have
all
to
the
be
time.
super nice.
You're
just
entitled to be in a
generally nice.
bad mood, you know.
But if you went
but-
but you're right. If you went by Jay's thing of just be generally nice, dude, he doesn't even remotely get to where he is in the
No.
movie. And I know it's a movie, so I mean, I get that. But like,
yeah,
but if he
obviously.
was a real person,
but it's more of a play on society. It's more telling to society, and for the pushback to be like, oh my God, we can't even watch. This is too triggering. This could inspire someone. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Shitty people in society inspire people like this to become like that.
Are there serious writers saying that though, or are these just comments from randos?
Oh, I'm seeing. Yeah, there are 1,000 write-ups that you can see. Most of them, the ones I saw, were positive. But then it was like, here's what the world thinks, and there's a bunch of different ones, and
Well, I hope
everyone's
the-
got their opinion. But
I hope the positive that people take out is what you said. Honestly, I really thought this was a good movie, and that was part of the reason why. Like, I really felt like if you really watched it like you did, that's what you would see. You would see, like, dude, this is what's
Yeah.
going to happen when we treat these people
and I
like this.
didn't feel like the violence was gratuitous. Now, Jay, if I told you about the incidents of violence in it, you would be like, holy fuck. But it's the way they shot it, where it's not just like, usually in these movies, it's just like fucking blow them up, shoot them up, whatever, fucking drop a bomb here, body parts, like CGI shit. Like, no, it was more real life. It was more, but not so gratuitous. You'll see it eventually, right?
Yeah.
When you do, you'll know what I'm talking about. We can discuss it more in depth. But both Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips have defended the film with Joaquin saying he trusts the audience to know the difference between right and wrong, which I think is fair. Phillips revealed he's absolutely shocked by the criticism. He's like, because he took measures to instill real-world implications of violence not often found in cartoon films and television shows. He feels as though he acted responsibly. Isn't it a good thing to take away the cartoon element about violence we've all become so immune to? I was a little surprised when it turns into that direction that it's irresponsible. Because to me, it's very responsible to make it feel real and make it have weight and implications. And I couldn't agree more with that. And I'd encourage people to go see it. I mean, obviously, if you're super sensitive, I get it if you were in the theater in fucking Aurora, Colorado, and maybe don't want to go back and see the latest dark installment of the DC comic series. But, for the rest of us, I at no point was worried that someone was going to hop up and fucking take a machine gun to the theater. At no point. I don't know if you were, E.
No, I guess
hope
not,
you aren't, Jay, when you're in the theater. But anyway,
You never know, right?
that's right.
Hey, Hamlin Pubs, they're inviting you to their 6 Metro Detroit locations. Come enjoy Hamlin Pub's great food, drinks, and atmosphere. Whether you're watching the game with your buddies or out for a meal with the family, it's always a great time at Hamlin Pub's Rochester, Clarkson, Chesterfield, 2 Shelby Township locations, and, of course, their all-new location in Richmond.
Oh, man, I was bummed for your Spartans last night, Jay.
Yeah.
They look so good.
They got walloped.
Did your boy have fun? Your boy was there.
My boy was there.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him. I got a text at 4:30 that said we just rolled in. So
Really?
Yeah, it was a long day.
Did he struggle at all after seeing what the Ohio State band laid down?
I don't know. What'd they lay down?
I mean, they just set the bar at 11. Dude, it's...
Yeah,
I
Ohio
didn't even
State
ask
has
you
a
to
great
pull
band.
it up, E, but if you pull up Ohio State halftime band show, Michigan State Ohio State game, holy shit, dude! They did a whole moon landing thing, where like the
Bunch of
band
different formations.
the formations of the rocket, and then they'd have like a smoke effect, like the rocket taking off, and then it lands, and they got the astronaut and the fucking flag. I mean, dude, it's badass.
Yeah, Ohio State band has been known as really great for a long time. They did a figure last year flossing. You know that floss
Oh yeah,
dance?
yeah.
I mean,
So
this
this
is
is
like
last
9
night.
minutes, so I don't know. I can kind of skip through, I guess, different
Yeah,
parts.
I saw some that were kind of doing clips of it, so it's a minute long, but that's okay. You go ahead and play some.
Or maybe.
Ohio State has the guy that goes all the way back on his back. That stupid hat on.
Yeah, State does that too.
Does he?
I think that's a drum major.
I was going to say, I think they
Yeah.
all have to do that.
So they've got Rush up there, CCCP.
Yep. Okay.
Oh no, it's the arms race. It's the who's going to get to the moon first. Russia's winning at this point.
Because of Sputnik and all.
Oh yeah.
And the monkey. They threw the monkey up there
Monkey.
first, didn't they?
Yeah, that guy didn't make it back. So go ahead further, E. I wonder how much this takes to plan out, you know?
Yeah, I don't even know how you begin to teach this.
Look at that. Into the astronaut.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, an astronaut, like, floating outside of a ship.
Yeah.
Look at how intricate that astronaut is. You know?
Oh yeah, the pack.
I will say this had to get remarkably easier once computers came along.
Yeah, probably.
Being able to design this shit.
I don't know what that
All right,
is.
we have stars.
Go forward, E. Yeah, so back it up a little bit before they get to that dude. So that's there's the rocket foreman or whatever.
Now they're forming an astronaut. He's going to place the flag. Look at that. And they bring out a real flag. That's sweet.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
I mean, all I could think was,
Jesus Christ.
man, he's got to be sitting in that crowd going, wait, I can't touch this, man. Can't
Yeah.
touch it.
Yeah.
What do we do with this?
Yeah, their band kicked the band's ass and their team kicked the team's ass.
Oh,
Dude, Ohio State looks definitely to be the top of the league.
Yeah.
Other stratosphere kind of level, like speed-wise and talent-wise, depth.
fucking pisses me off.
It really,
man.
it really looked like men amongst boys for much of that.
Yeah, Michigan State hung for a quarter. I mean, like held Ohio State to nothing.
If I would've-
16 yards passing.
If I wouldn't have been watching Michigan State like I have this season because I've been to every game, watched every game, I would have thought like, oh shit, Spartans maybe they just didn't play as good or something. They could have played.
Yeah.
No. They played as they've played the last
Yeah.
4 games or whatever. That is what they are.
Yeah.
And Ohio State is just way better.
Yeah, Ohio State looks like the top. I mean, I think they're ranked 4th
The
right now, but
speed
they
of that
look number
quarterback,
1.
man. The
Yeah.
speed, and here's the backup from Georgia, right?
Yeah, he was
transferred from
Fromm's
Georgia.
backup. Yeah.
Dude, sweet.
I mean, how many quarterbacks in a
running
row
back, my
can
God.
Ohio State and running backs
Yeah.
and linebackers and defensive ends? I mean,
Corners.
it's like, dude, it's unbelievable what's going on there. And I wonder now that Urban Meyer's gone, like, okay, his players are still there. Like, once he's not there, because you're seeing what's going on at Vatech. Vatech, now that, what's his name's gone, the burn-faced dude.
I don't know anything about
He was there
Vatech.
for 50 years or something, their head coach. I mean, he's a great coach,
Uh-huh.
and he's not there, and his recruiting classes have fallen off, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, but Urban wasn't. It's not like he was there for 3 decades.
Yeah.
He was there for a chunk. But Tressel had great
Yeah.
success before that. They'll be fine, man.
I know.
And in fact, it made me wonder, like, how anybody from the Big Ten goes into the season with any expectation of winning that division, other than Ohio State. Like how Michigan comes in and expects, oh, we're Michigan, we expect
Yeah.
to compete with that.
yeah,
Okay, maybe, but
22 years since a national title. 22 years. I mean, it's like, yeah, you're not even in the discussion, man. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah,
you're
but-
just not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But
there's
Ohio
the big
State,
boys, and then there's a bunch of good teams,
Yeah.
And I'd put Michigan in there, and I'd put Michigan State a little bit behind there, but
Yeah.
there's just an upper echelon that, wow,
is very untouchable.
wow.
Yeah. And I love those Sparty helmets, those white ones.
Yeah, those are cool. aren't
Great.
they?
I love those helmets. Yeah, they pull them out a couple times a year, I think, but I do like those. Back to the news, other news. See the key witness in the
Amber
white
Geiger,
cop killer, Amber Geiger, gets mowed down over the weekend.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
I don't know. There's already conspiracy theories, of course.
So he was a witness for the prosecution.
Yeah.
So the idea would be that the cops went out and whacked this
As
guy.
fucking if, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he testified for the prosecution.
They took out a girl, Amber.
Yeah, look, send an Amber to jail. As if they all just piled into a silver sedan and riddled this guy with bullets in front of his fucking apartment complex. Sure. So he was shot to death in an ambush outside his apartment. Joshua Brown, he was a neighbor of Botham Jeans, and he was found on the ground, his body loaded with bullets, Friday about 10:30 outside the building. Witnesses heard several gunshots and saw this silver sedan speeding away from the parking lot. He testified last week. He's the guy that broke down on the stand, started crying. He entered Jean's apartment, she thinking it was hers, shot him dead, that story. Brown said he heard what sounded like 2 people meeting by surprise. I would think that would go to help her a little bit, because there were some people acting like that wasn't the case.
right.
But if he's right next door and that's what he heard, and then he hears the 2 gunshots, he wept on the stand as he recounted hearing Jean singing gospel music and Drake through the door, Prosecutor Jason Hermas applauded his decision to come forward. He bravely came forward to testify when others wouldn't. Why would that be brave to testify? I guess because it's a cop trial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Said Brown was a former athlete turned entrepreneur whose slang underscores the reality of the black experience in America. I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but okay. He lived in constant fear that he could be the next victim of gun violence. He deserves the same justice he sought for the Jean family. I don't know why. It sounds like he needed to move or something.
Big coincidence, or is there
don't-
something here? He was shot in the
don't-
mouth, right? Which tends to
sounds like he was-
suggest, like, dude, didn't like what you said. Boom.
But if you're just pumped with bullets, I,
know,
mean,
I find it
bound to hit a mouth or something.
really crazy that someone would put a hit out on a pro prosecution witness in that case.
Well, my guess is, which sucks because then it's going to be like, oh, yeah, you know, you're speaking ill of the dead or you're trashing this guy's good name. There's probably more to this story than we realize. There, you know, if,
Well, he's an entrepreneur, Mike.
right,
you know?
right. And I'm not
Little
saying
business setup.
maybe he's the most honest, hardworking gentleman we've ever heard of,
Yeah.
and this is just a clear, sad story. I don't know, but when you see riddled with bullets like that, I don't know. It just hope I'm wrong, but I wouldn't be shocked if stories started coming out that there was something more there.
Right.
Just a guess. I don't know. Sad story too. We lost Ginger Baker over the weekend.
Yeah.
Remember Ginger Baker?
I don't personally. I mean, I know
There's a great
who he
documentary
was, but
called "Beware of Mr. Baker," which was the sign that he had outside his house, like "Beware of dog," but "Beware of Mr. Baker," which he shot with full of gun holes forever. Like he's fucking absolute psychopath weirdo, but one of the best drummers ever.
drummer of Cream.
Yes, among other bands. But yeah, he passed away. His son, Kofi, who's also a drummer, percussionist, was asked if he felt under pressure to live up to his dad's reputation as the rock and roll world's first superstar drummer. He replied, "My dad is such an asshole that it's not like I was stressed about making him proud of anything." How's that for a quote from your boy? Can you imagine Manfred saying that about you one day?
Right.
My dad was such an asshole. Nah, not even bother trying to fucking. I wasn't worried about what he thought. He asked if he was asked if his father had any redeeming qualities. He laughed sadly and softly and replied, "No, but he was a good drummer."
Well, that's it. That is a redeeming quality then. He was a good drummer. I
was.
guess he said no, but
He's a great drummer. Yeah, the Ginger Baker was a great drummer as a statement beyond reproach. First with Alex Corner's Blues Collective, and then Blues Incorporated. He replaced Charlie Watts, who would soon then become the Rolling Stones drummer. He backed Eric Clapton and Jack Bruce, and that relationship he had with Jack Bruce was really not good for quite a while. In the influential band Cream, a lot of people think that started heavy metal, was really Cream. Then there was the supergroup Blind Faith. The list goes on. Ginger Baker's Air Force, Hawkwind, Public Image Limited. Baker once described being behind the drums as an experience akin to being taken over by someone or something other than himself. And so he would always say, "I'm not a rock and roll drummer, man. If anything, it's all jazz music." He doesn't like rock and roll. I've never had a great love of the music business. When an interview asked, "What was the last record that excited you?" he barked, "I don't listen to music."
Okay. A miserable dude.
Yeah, when you're talking about a bus driver, his holiday is driving.
Yeah.
And what of his influence on other genres, such as heavy metal? They credited Cream, like I said, for the birth of heavy metal. Well, if that's the case, there should be an immediate abortion. So much talent, so much raid. He's like, "God is punishing me for past wickedness by keeping me alive and in as much pain as he can."
Jesus Christ.
Despite being friends with Charlie Watts, he didn't care much for the Stones. I wouldn't go within 10 miles of a Rolling Stones gig. They're not great musicians. They're not really great songwriters. Mick Jagger is a musical moron.
What does he do? Why is he doing what he's doing then? Like, I don't understand.
Dude, he's like off in the wilderness, man. They couldn't
Right.
get interviews. You didn't get interviews with Ginger Baker. Like, he's a fucking
Well, he
hermit.
still took the
weirdo.
money. He still did these tours and took the money, I guess.
He viewed Paul McCartney with disdain because Paul could never read music. He said, "Fuck that guy." George Martin was the Beatles. Mitch Mitchell was a hopeless journeyman. Keith Moon, another friend, wasn't really a great drummer. Elvis, one of the biggest Burks I ever met. I do have a God-given gift that only a few drummers have.
Who does he like?
I don't know. Probably no. And it is a gift. It's not something you can work at. Keith Moon, John Bonham, no. I wouldn't put them in the same frame. They were drummers, but they weren't in any way exceptional, in my opinion.
Anyone? Anyone we know, Ginger?
Probably, one of those old, Gene Krupa or something back in those days. Ginger, nicknamed for his streak of red hair, his fiery red hair, was a hyperactive kid. And they said, these days they'd probably put him on some meds. Back then they just threw him on a drum kit. Go to work, kid. So he he was pretty good by the time he was 15. A little later, he'd finessed his skills with tuition from the English jazz great Phil Seaman. Who can forget the great Phil Seaman? Baker would remain a disciple all his life, later recruiting his mentor for his band Air Force. Unfortunately, the mentor and him didn't just share a love of jazz; they also loved heroin a lot too. Yeah.
Jeez.
Baker loved heroin until, of course, he didn't. To find you have to do something just to feel normal is not a good road. I got involved in 1960 when people were getting more than they were using on prescription and selling it. It was called Jack, 1/6 of a gram of heroin in one tiny white pill. He tried to kick the drug 29 times before a relocation to Italy in 1981 saw him break free for good. I moved to a little village in the middle of nowhere where nobody spoke English. I got into olive farming. It was very rewarding, very hard work, but very good therapy. Rehab in the conventional sense was never an option. No. There's only one person who can help an addict. That's an addict. The whole rehab thing is a bloody con to make money and take advantage. The whole thing is nonsense.
So what took him out?
Who knows? I mean, he's 80. He's old age. Chaos followed him wherever he went. He left Italy because apparently the mafia was onto him, and they were like, "We think you're selling drugs out here." He's like, "Dude, it's my olive farm." And they ended up killing his beloved dog as a
no.
warning shot.
Oh,
So he
no.
took his poops out. So he left. And then he moved to West Africa, opened a recording studio there. He fell out with a business partner. I wonder what happened there. Seems like such a peach of a guy, you know. After threats from the corrupt local police, he felt it in his best interest to get out of town. That's when he returned in the 90s, settling in South Africa. His property was notorious for the "Beware of Mr. Baker" sign, hammered into the dusty soil. He married 4 times. He got a taste for polo in Africa. I'm surprised by that. Even opened a polo school.
Really?
That was not as big a hit as you would think. In fact, he lost all of his money to opening up a polo school.
What a weird Gumpian type existence, you know? This
know.
guy,
Yeah.
a drummer in a huge rock band, ends up on an olive farm, then a goddamn polo school.
Yeah.
It's just weird, man. Once you have a little bit of cash like that, righty, you can just go off and do whatever the
Sure,
fuck
I guess, yeah.
Become a hermit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Cream, that was the big knock on that. It was like, dude, 2 years they were together. It's like, well, now you know why. And they finally pulled it together for a gig 25 years later to go into the Hall of Fame. First time they played in 25 years. Then they had an unlikely and, more importantly to the financially reckless Baker, lucrative Indian summer in 2005. Future reunion plans would be scrapped when Bruce and Baker refused or found it impossible to put old grudges aside. Even for the millions of dollars, these two clowns can't get their shit together.
Jeez.
And so Led Zeppelin ended up taking the gig. It was Cream who was supposed to perform at the '07 live tribute to music industry legend Ahmet Ertegun. So, yeah.
Oh, look at this. His early ambition was to ride in the Tour de France.
Yeah.
But he was forced to quit the sport when at age 16 his bicycle got caught up with a taxi.
Really?
Ouch.
Yeah, he did long credit his cycling with giving him the training to play the drums the way he did, the endurance and whatnot. So yeah, but great fucking drummer, man. I mean,
Fucking hilarious.
Down goes Ginge.
yeah, down goes Ginger, and can't say
What a
it.
life. I can't get over it. What a life.
His wife. It's so funny. So his
wife.
ex-wife, yes, his first wife Elizabeth once said of his durability, "If a plane went down and there was one survivor, it would be Ginger. The devil takes care of its own."
What a dick.
Yeah.
Hey, our friend Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial wants to ask you the following question. Do you need an annuity rescue? If you purchased an annuity 5 or more years ago, you're probably paying way too high fees. There are way better low fee options now. So if you have an annuity, you want it reviewed, call Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial and see if he can save you thousands of dollars in fees. Call Mark at 248-626-2000.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Diplomatic immunity.
Married
What is
4.
this?
I was just going to say married 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow got 4 girls to deal
Yeah.
with that dick.
Why guys like that keep going back to the well of marriage? It's
I
just
know.
like, it's remarkable.
You wonder what is in the lead.
3,
up. Is
4. I
it-
can see 2, but then you really got to think hard about 3,
what
right?
if happen, what if
Really
does
hard
it depend
about 3.
on what happened with 1 and 2 before you get to 3?
Well, of course you always think, well, this is going to be better, and this.
Well,
is...
no, I mean like if 1 went down in a tragic,
Oh, right.
slipped down a mountain.
Of course,
it's like, well,
if there's a
fuck,
death,
you
yeah,
know, and
that's
then
different.
2 was just a cunt. You didn't see it till 3 years later when it presented itself. You know, we all make mistakes.
Somebody tried to tell me recently, like, they think, well, you know, what happens is the young hot ass just tells them, like, look it, man. Because that hot ass realizes what the deal is. And they go, look it, man, you know, no more, you know, fucking me if you don't make this marriage. So I will get something down the line for this. But I was like, well, then you think, like, well, why wouldn't he just be like, you know what, I'll find another one. I'll find another fucking groupie. I'll find one that won't get married. That will live with the lifestyle at that point, but I understand that it might not be something you're going to be able to deal with.
Yeah.
It must be just, well, I'm sure it's different in every case, but for a majority of people, it's probably just flat loneliness, not wanting to die alone, you know, wanting someone to party with.
Guys like that, they probably get to different stages in their life. They're like, all right, this is my olive farming stage. I'm much different than I was before.
Right.
You know, this will work out better.
Sure.
We'll be able to do this.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold,
What do you know?
that one flames out.
Yeah. Hey, Cupid's arrow doesn't always hit its mark. I mean, he's shown to fail quite a bit, actually. Diplomatic
50% of the time.
51.2%, but yeah, sure. Diplomatic immunity, Jay. I think you're a big fan of diplomatic immunity.
Always hated diplomatic immunity.
What is the fucking point?
I know, man. What's
like
the?
it just seems like the ultra elite came up with a way to just be like, yeah, by the way,
Do whatever the fuck you want.
We can do whatever we want, and we've got this rule in place for us, and all the governments decided to go, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, diplomatic immunity, you can be a dick face all over wherever you are.
It's not very intuitive, is it? I remember seeing a movie. I have no idea what movie it was when I was young, like a TV movie. And I'm sitting there watching with my dad, and diplomatic immunity comes up, and this guy who murdered this person is off me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, well, it's because he's a diplomat from Africa. I'm like, so?
And
He's like, well, there's this thing. And I couldn't get my head around it.
see, but your dad was rationalizing it, like,
He was-
yeah, it's just what we do. I don't know.
It's trying.
Yeah. So outrage has erupted on both sides of the Atlantic after the U.S. refused to waive diplomatic immunity for a diplomat's wife who was suspected of killing a teenager in a wrong-way crash in England.
Can anyone blame someone in England? I mean, I know they're going to say she's drunk, and that's uncalled for and unacceptable. But who amongst us would know which side of the road to
I
drive on at
know.
all times in England? You telling me you wouldn't?
Yeah.
Shit, swerve back over.
I thought the same thing. England was asking for this. By driving on the wrong side of the road, they've put all of us in this position of,
How much of the world does the proper side, and how much does the wrong side?
I don't know, how many's doing the metric system?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, are we the last guy hanging on
maybe.
to this side of the road, or
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
Jesus?
I'm assuming it's American, so we're doing it the right way.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean? Our way is the best way. We figured that out because we're the best.
15 Asian nations drive on the left. Okay, African countries have left-sided traffic, including former British colonies. See, that's the problem. So many of them are former British colonies all over the world.
Right.
Oh, okay. So what is it?
Europe, first legislation to make traffic left-sided in the UK was made in the 18th century. The law required, blah, blah, blah.
Turks
West
and
Indies,
Caicos
it's on
has
the
got-
left.
Why?
Places with left-handed. All right, here we go. List. I want a bottom line number, Isis.
Oh, shit.
That's
Oh.
a long list. Although there's,
Hold on, E. Slow down. Zimbabwe's driving on the left.
would you expect anything other from the Zimbabweanese?
Trinidad and Tobago, Turks and E. Can't read them.
Yeah, there's a
You know
lot,
what's
man.
you know what's a fuck.
What is the benefit to driving on the wrong side of the road?
Well, it says up here
Right.
actually how it started. I think.
Has always been right-handed. It's theorized that left-handed traffic began in the days of horse travel. The left-sided position put them. Did you write this, E? Put them in an advantage of having easy access to their sword with their right-handed.
Sweet.
That's kind of dope, but
Yes,
we don't
it's
have.
very dope
But dude, honestly, unless you're a Sikh traveling by horse-drawn buggy,
with a dagger.
you know what I mean? Like you're what you don't.
It seems
need to-
outmoded.
Yeah.
It's all those transmissions, though, you know? They probably don't want to change all those over and then change all the traffic signs. Be a
Yeah.
big to-do.
Well,
It
that
would.
comes with a price.
A worldwide to-do.
Comes with a price.
You know what's funny? I hadn't thought about it in a while, but he mentioned that Trinidad and Tobago.
Tobago, sure.
Yeah, I was in this world like civics class my senior year of high school, and we were supposed to pick a country, and like send them something and then like do a report on it.
Yeah.
And I picked that country, and Chris McQueen picked a country that was like right next to it.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to do this
He
big.
probably picked Lesbos.
No, it was
The Isle of
what was
Lesbos
it?
or
I
something.
forget what it was called, but I think it was right next to it. And we were supposed to do this big report, like actually look into it. But my teacher was lazy as fuck. Like he was just a terrible teacher. He was a nice guy, but a terrible teacher. And I just made up the entire report. I didn't.
Did you say toboggans came from Tobago?
I
Tobacco.
Everybody rides toboggans.
I made up
everywhere.
Me and McQueen made up that our countries had 100 years war with each other. Like, it's just like
Teacher's like, yeah.
yes.
Wow, that's really creative, E, and ballsy.
Well,
I mean,
McQueen was involved.
I knew he
Yeah.
wasn't right. I knew he wasn't reading them though, like because
How did you know?
well, in that same class, McQueen had a situation one time. He would come up to like once a week. He would say, we'd sit in class, and he'd bring you up and he'd be like, "Okay, now these are the papers I have for you so far, and these are your grades." And like one time, McQueen was just like, he's like, "Oh, I don't have you turning in this thing." He's like, "Well, I did it." He's like, well, I don't.
Stand your ground, McQueen. Stand your ground.
He goes, "Well, I don't have it." And McQueen just goes,
Well,
I know I did it. And then he like went back to like look through his page. McQueen was always really fucking good at like just playing that off the cuff kind of. And he just went back and like looked through shuffled through his bag, and he's like, "Oh, I can't find it, but I know I did it." He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'll let it go this time." And he just
Well,
like wrote it. So
Say we settle on a B plus.
I mean,
call it even.
It was, God, to be honest, there was a few things. This guy would also sell candy in the class, and he was selling it for like the school. But like he would show up.
See, that opens you up to blackmail, doesn't it?
Jesus did this too, though.
I did it too. Actually, I did it too. But this is a teacher. He would do it, and like the thing is, he would be late. So, man, think about it in high school. Our class. I mean, I didn't give a fuck. But our classes are only like 50 minutes, and sometimes he would show up like 5 minutes late, 8 minutes late,
Awesome.
and then still sell the candy. And so, like, he would just.
All right, we have 23 minutes left to learn.
So when you turn in your paper, and then he goes, I've graded your papers over the weekend. You know he didn't do shit.
Right.
And he hands them all back to everybody.
Right.
What is your grade?
I got like a B.
But what is he downgrading you for? Was he just like circling random shit with a red pen and going 87? E, nice job.
I have no idea.
It's all the randomly placed periods.
I have no idea, but I got a B in that. Like we were supposed, and then the other thing is like back then, like so each you had 2 semesters, right? And the semesters were broke up into like 3 parts, and we were supposed to send a thing to our country's what is it, not union,
Tourist
but
bureau or
yeah,
something?
bureau, and like I remember McQueen's letter was asking for like foam fingers and stuff, like, but like also the teacher, like we didn't even.
In his defense, what are you supposed to ask for? A
I don't-
map?
From the island of Lesbos?
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
I mean-
know, but like he didn't even tell us until like halfway through the second part of the third, like thing. So like we weren't even like gonna get, most of them didn't even get back in time because like we didn't even, because it was senior year too. So like we have like 4 weeks to send this thing back.
Those
and it
things
was-
showed up 2 weeks after everyone graduated. They went
quite
right
an
in the fucking
interesting-
garbage.
And then actually, to be honest with you, this one other time, he didn't do his track things. Like we would have like, he would do a pamphlet at the end of the year, and it'd be like, "Oh, this is how you guys did," and he would give them out at like the senior banquet. And he didn't do it in time, so he assigned all of us to do certain papers of it. And me and McQueen just threw our papers in the trash and played computer games. And then he got mad. And then he walked in and he goes, "Who threw these away?" So
I'm
that
glad
was what
that the listing of Trinidad and Tobago made you recall such a
I
memory.
know. I know. McQueen will like that when he listens to this. So
So Saturday, Northamptonshire police confirmed that 42-year-old American woman suspected in the death of Harry Dunn.
Hattie Dunn?
Isn't Harry Dunn from Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn?
Oh, shit. Yeah, dude.
Isn't it?
Yes. I think so, yeah.
Right?
Jeff Daniels' character?
Yeah. Is Jeff Daniels over? Is he in Northamptonshire now? He still got that mini bike from Dumb and Dumber, because this kid was nailed on a
Harry Dunn.
moped. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we lost Harry Dunn, and this chick was like, "No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to sit right here and do the responsible thing and take responsibility for this while you guys look into that." And then went, "Fucking get me a plane out of this fucking place," and hightailed it back to the U.S. I don't know why they won't name the woman nor her U.S. diplomat husband. The case has enraged the British public. Also, some people in America, too. People are pretty pissed off. Superintendent Sarah Johnson with the police department said the investigators met with the suspect on the day after the crash in the presence of legal advisors. During the course of that meeting, we were aware that diplomatic immunity had been raised as an issue. We then made an immediate application for a waiver in order for us to undertake further investigations and interviews. Yeah, so the U.S. could waive diplomatic immunity, but it sounds like they looked at one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that won't be happening, but thanks. Thanks for asking. Anything else we can do for you?
Jesus Christ, what a thing.
Yeah, America refused to waive immunity. Investigators later learned the woman had returned to the U.S. In a statement, the U.S. State Department said, and I want to be clear about this for anyone who loved Harry Dunn. We all love the Dumb and Dumber movies. We express our deepest sympathies and offer condolences to the family of the deceased in the tragic traffic accident involving a vehicle driven by the spouse of a U.S. diplomat assigned to the United Kingdom. We can confirm the family has left the U.K. Any questions regarding waiver of immunity with regard to our diplomats and their family members overseas in a case like this receives careful attention at senior levels. Peace. I'm out.
Think how outraged you'd be if some Brit came over here and, killed your kid or your sister
Yeah.
or whatever. Like,
19 years
and then
old, too.
blew out of here. Nope.
Yeah.
Immunity. What?
Dude, they're taking like the tiniest bit of solace knowing that the investigation showed that young Harry Dunn was doing absolutely nothing wrong on the road. He's where he was supposed to be, driving on the wrong side of the road like he's supposed to. And I heard drunk, too, that she was drunk.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not seeing that totally in this one. They're not mentioning that, but yeah.
Yeah, if this is just a case of mistaken side of road, then perhaps we can excuse it. But
Yeah. They're begging, please, President Trump, please listen. We're a family in ruin. We're broken. We can't grieve. Please let her get back on a plane. We have nothing, no justice. We have nothing to put our minds at rest. That she's even remorseful. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Because the powerful look out for the powerful. But that, dude, you brought it up to me because I was kind of like your dad. Like, yeah, it's just a thing, man. Diplomatic immunity, whatever. Go over there and fucking do whatever you want.
Why?
Have at some rapes. Go ahead. Have at it. Get immunity anyways. Who cares? Just steal some shit. It's like, yeah, why? Why? I watched Joe Biden on Friday during his, press conference where he's really going to stick it to Trump.
He's going to beat Trump like a drum, right?
Take him behind the wheelhouse.
Woodshed or
Woodshed.
wheelhouse, whatever.
Yeah,
It's in my wheelhouse.
It's in my wheelhouse.
Anyway.
In my wheelhouse, I've already kicked his ass behind the woodshed, huh? If I was ever in a locker room and heard men talking about women, you don't even want to know what I'd do to them. Sure, Joe. He's lashed out at a reporter in response to questions about his family's potential conflicts of interest in Ukraine. I'm sorry, Jay. I know that everyone's going, long debunked. Oh, this is long proven. Why are we even discussing this? And I'm going, I guess.
Who said it was long debunked?
Biden? These long rumored and debunked fantasy stories about dealings in the Ukraine. I mean, I'm not even going to address them. Let's talk about Trump, this monster. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't really remember anybody debunking that shit. I got a few questions, to be honest with you, Joe.
Yeah,
I
that's
got
not
a
like
few.
a conspiracy theory. That's like a real thing, man.
Yeah, I read the
This
chapter
kid,
in Schweitzer's book.
China as well as Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah, Biden renewed his attack on the president. Ugh. Donald Trump is the definition of corruption. Friday, Trump maintained that he had an obligation to request assistance from foreign governments to investigate alleged corruption and asks he made of China and Ukraine were not politically motivated in any way. I don't know if I buy that, but, yeah, Trump insisted foreign investigations he's demanding are about Hunter Biden pillaging these countries and hurting us, not his father's bid to become the next president. And so, do we have the video of him, of Biden, talking to those reporters?
You know what? My bad on this. I did like 3 minutes, so I don't remember. I forgot to find exactly where he.
Well, he comes out. and
Okay, it's right from the beginning, kind of.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Hey folks, how are you?
Mr. Vice President,
Before you, I'm going to make it. All this talk of the president about corruption comes from the most corrupt president we've had in modern history. He's the definition of corruption.
Yeah.
He's corrupted the agencies of government, from the Defense Department, from the State
Defense
Department, from the Justice Department, all about making sure that he, in fact, allows somebody else to pick his opponent for him. That's what this is about. And I am not going to stand for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to respond to it.
No.
I'm
I
not
wouldn't
going to
either.
talk about anything other than what the facts are.
Yeah,
He's
good
indicted
call,
himself
Joe.
by
I'm
his
not gonna talk
own
about the
statements.
scandal.
Are you kidding me?
This is not about me. It's not about my son.
Sort of is.
There's not a shred of evidence there's anything done that was wrong.
Really?
the Senate. The Senate is where there would be a.
No, I said from the beginning, the constitutional process, notwithstanding what he calls it, he calls the impeachment proceeding a coup. a coup.
So,
He
no,
talks
that
about
was the
how
Mueller
we should
report.
handle
Yeah, that was the
whistleblowers.
coup.
Sure.
He talks about there will be a
Look at
civil
the back
war.
of his head.
It's
This is the guy that's
remarkable.
unhinged.
Yeah,
He is unhinged.
he's unhinged.
I worry about what he's going to do, not about me or my family. I worry about what he'll do in the next year in the presidency as this thing continues to rot on his watch.
Yeah.
I am not going to speculate what I would do in the Senate. I'm a former vice president. I know what occurred in Ukraine. I know what occurred in terms of China. I know what occurred in terms of Russia. This is a president trying to
get back to
get
the president.
two of our most serious competitors and not allies to decide this election. Decide who he runs.
He doesn't want to say a fucking word about this. Smart move by him.
Yeah.
Dude, so I read, and you can stop me at any point, Jay, but I've been meaning to read Peter Schweizer's book. He's did Clinton Cash. He did a book on Jeb Bush, Secret Empires, and this has been quoted a lot. And Biden's not even on the cover of it. Oh, yeah, Biden is, my bad. Secret Empires, how the American political class hides corruption and enriches family and friends. Have you read any of this account yet?
No.
I think we each got a book of this. So there's a whole chapter, Biden's in Ukraine. And so I'll read you some of this. Again, stop me if you get bored. The father statesmen Biden and Kerry were deeply involved in a complex and difficult situation in Ukraine. The country was facing Russia aggression in the east, political turbulence at home, and powerful oligarchs fighting over the country's resources.
Stop, board. No, I'm just kidding.
In the middle of it, Kerry and Biden were making critical decisions about Ukraine's future with Hunter Biden and Devin Archer on their heels. So Devin Archer is like the right-hand man to Kerry, John Kerry. And so so Ukraine is blessed with a treasure house of energy resources, particularly oil and natural gases. These riches are a target for Russian covert operations, corrupt oligarchs, and powerful mafia dons. Burisma is a secretive Ukrainian national gas company with deep political ties in the country. Many of their assets are heavily concentrated in the eastern reaches of the country. The border area with Russia has been the source of conflict with Moscow for decades. It was created, Burisma, in 2006 with a Cypriot registration by a man named Mykola Zlochevsky. Hang with me. Future Ecology and Natural Resources Minister in the pro-Russian government of Viktor Yanukovych. How did a government minister end up owning a massive energy company? Zlochevsky gave himself the licenses to develop the abundant gas fields. He gave himself the licenses. Of note, he took the licenses for the country's largest natural gas field from someone else and gave it to the company connected to Burisma. In 2012, the president removed Zlochevsky as Ecology and Natural Resources Minister, appointed him to the National Secretary and Defense Council, but fortunately a year later, the ownership structure of Burisma had been quietly transferred to another company called Brochity Investments. The island nation has become a favorite venue for Russian activities where mafia, government officials, intelligence ops park their assets. So this is Zlochevsky's name is attached to the company, but Burisma's major subsidiaries now listed the same business address as this national gas firm controlled by the controversial Ukrainian oligarch named Kolomowski. So this guy, they go through this Kolomowski guy, who is the guy that Biden's kid is going to work for. This dude is a fucking nightmare, according to everybody. He's a guy that will steal your business through force, guns, break your fucking kneecaps. This guy, like they call him sometimes known as King Kolomowski inside the country. His office features a gigantic shark tank. He does not seem to care much for the rules. He holds Ukrainian, Israeli, and Cypriot passports, which in Ukrainian's constitution forbids dual citizenship. His answer to that was, Constitution prohibits double citizenship. Triple citizenship is no problem.
Well, that's true. I mean,
Fucking asshole. His violent, brutal business practices stand out even in this rough corner of the globe. Rival oligarchs have sued him in British courts, alleging he was involved in murders, beatings. He alleged he was quasi-military teams, hired rowdies armed with baseball bats, iron bars, gas, rubber bullet pistols, and chainsaws to take over a steel plant in 2006. He also used a mix of phony court orders, corrupt judges, strong-arm tactics to purge rival board members. Why young Biden and those close to Kerry viewed Kolomowski as an appropriate business partner is not known. Repeated calls to them went unanswered. He built his multi-billion-dollar empire by raiding other companies, a violent Ukrainian form of mergers and acquisitions involving guns. There are actual firms in the Ukraine registered with offices and business cards, firms that specialize in various dimensions of the corporate raiding process, including armed guys to do stuff. forging documents, bribing notaries, bribing judges. Practice is common. Even though it's common, Kolomensky stands out. He's known as the most famous oligarch raider, accused of having conducted a massive raiding campaign over the roughly 10 years leading up to 2010. Given all this, the U.S. started paying attention to this guy. So they've taken him. He was eventually placed on the government visa ban list, prohibiting from even entering the country of America legally. He would be taking off that list shortly after Hunter Biden and Devon Archer joined the board of his energy company. Yeah. In early March, only days after the Russians move into Crimea, Secretary of State John Kerry visited Kyiv, arriving with a pledge of $1 billion in loan guarantees and tech assistance. Kerry spoke forcefully. So this goes on and on, dude. Nobody can figure out why Hunter Biden is with this company. Why this shit when they're looking into the prosecutors when these things are canceled last minute. It stinks to high hell. They can't find any of the money. $1.8 billion goes missing. Nobody knows why this fucking Kerry fella, why this asshole. They said that the Biden stand, he said, so an ally of Secretary of State Kerry was soon added to the Burisma payroll. Less than a month after Kerry's protege Archer joined the board, they hired a new lobbyist in Washington named David Leader, former Senate chief of staff for Kerry. Their access to the power hallways around the world in Washington was looking bright. At the end of June, 4 U.S. senators drafted a letter to Obama requesting greater U.S. aid for the Ukrainian energy industry. The choice of Hunter Biden to handle transparency and corporate governance for Burisma is curious because Biden had little, if any, experience in Ukrainian law or professional legal counsel, period. He seemed undeterred by that fact that he was joining the Burisma board. The British government's serious fraud office, SFO, was seizing $23 million from Zlochevsky's bank accounts. The SFO was also seeking access to the Swiss bank accounts. Their bank accounts in London. British officials aggressively pursued the case for more than a year, ran into a little bit of a roadblock. Ukrainian prosecutors refused to cooperate. By January, the SFO had unblocked his accounts. Corruption in Ukraine is so bad, a Nigerian prince would be embarrassed. Indeed, Ukraine was rated as more corrupt than Nigeria by the Transparency International Group. So this is who Biden is. So for him to stand here, and there's more, I don't want to bore you guys with this shit. It's fascinating to read, and it's like
there's no reasonable explanation for the connection.
None.
And yet Biden won't stand up and give one or try to answer any sort of question.
And they said, that the timing looks like shit. The fact that he's specifically, Biden is in charge of dealings with China and fucking Ukraine specifically, and then his son is there, and all this is put together. And he said, stands to make, because immediately, the first press release they sent out, look who's on the board now. We've got access to fucking Vice President Joe Biden. Like,
influence brokering.
They're bragging about the influence. We've got high-level politicians' sons working for our board and blah, blah, blah. Hunter Biden has no business there. Neither does this Devon asshole. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, this is long debunked. This is outrageous. Look at Trump. And it's like, no, dude, I got a few questions about some of this. I don't know. I'm sure Ed Grabo will write me tomorrow and say I'm completely wrong about all this. But a lot of people are referencing Peter Schweizer's book that did a hell of a lot of research into this. And it stinks to fucking high heaven. And they said the value to the Ukrainians, the stolen money, the Swiss bank accounts, all the shit going on, the value to them and the possible value to the Bidens for being on that board, potentially billions in payoffs. Billions with a B. Fucking disgusting.
That's how a lifetime politician ends up.
Yeah.
Right.
Rich as balls.
I thought about you when I was reading it, Jay. I was like, yeah, this is what Jay's always talking about. How does a guy making $150,000 a year, as a career politician, just looking out for the little
with
fella,
a place in the Hamptons and et cetera, et
Yes, I'll be
cetera.
at Martha's Vineyard over the weekend before I stop by Mar-a-Lago for a round of golf and then off to the $5 million house in the most exclusive LA neighborhood, Maxine Waters. The
public servant, man.
Yeah, the life of the public servant. It's just great. You know, you get kicked out of the Navy for failing coke tests, doing blow. I mean, and the fact, I'm sorry, man. It's whatever, to each their own. They were in a mourning spot. The fact that your fucking brother Bo dies of a brain tumor and then you start fucking his wife, your own brother's wife.
Yeah.
It's
that
just,
happened.
yeah, you forgot that happened. Yeah. A little weird, right?
It's over the line.
A little bit. Yeah, I could go on and on. I've got multiple stories I was reading today all about the life of Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. But I was insulted at watching his press conference, just not wanting to say a fucking word, probably in his best interest.
Yeah, he knows people don't want to dig into those details. They don't.
No.
They're like, oh fuck, another scandal, really? Just tell us it's not so, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so. Just move on.
No, this
Nothing
long,
to see here. That Trump, focus on Trump. He's the
Trump.
one.
most corrupt politician. No one's ever done this. What, gone after the swamp creatures like you, asshole? Is that what they've never done? Because fucking Trump's an asswipe in a lot of respects, but dude, I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like his son at all. Stinks. Then there's poor Bernie Sanders.
Oh man, what a bad time to have a heart attack.
Yeah,
huh?
he was feeling the heartburn pretty bad. Yeah, a little
Bad
heart
ticker.
problem.
What is the actual youngest Democrat that has a chance to win?
Oh well, I mean, it depends on
That
what
has
you
a
consider a
chance to win.
chance. It's either Biden,
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Warren.
What is she, 72 or
Yeah,
something?
early
73?
70s.
My God. Oh my God.
Versus those dudes who are
Could
in
there
their
not
80s.
be a 50-year-old?
I know.
mean, fuck, a 50-year-old
Ah,
at
you
least.
got Pete Buttigieg. I wouldn't rule him out yet. Cory Booker's always hanging in there.
Like, Christ.
Yeah, Bernie. I mean, the people on his team must have been in that hospital going, "You fucking really, Bern? We tell you to stop screaming into the microphone about blah blah blah."
Calm down, Bernie.
He seems absolutely unhinged. It was fun when he was like Jerry Garcia last time around. You know what I mean? He kind of had that dead
Well,
following
when he was
with
the
him, and-
alternative to Hillary, it was much different.
Yeah.
Now he's having to stand on his own 2 feet, and when you have a more palatable doppelganger in Warren in terms of policy, it's like, yeah, I think I like her a little. She's just more likable than this old, curmudgeon.
Yeah, I can't get past the Pocahontas thing. Maybe I'm being too hard on her for that. But
I'm telling you, if she replace her frames, those glasses, just get new glasses. Home free. You're home
Yeah.
free, Elizabeth.
yeah. He sent out a video Friday shortly after he was discharged. That was the only mention they even made of this. It was like, oh, shit, he's been in the hospital for 3 days. No one's saying a fucking word. But, they said,
Dude
no.
needs to duck out. Come on, look at this. You're not going to win.
He thinks he is. He's raising more money than
dude,
anybody.
his ideas are accepted now. Like, remember 4 or 5 years ago, like hearing what he wants, what, and now that's like the platform of the Democrats. He's
Are they
sort of one in a
accepted,
way.
though?
Well,
I don't think nationally they are. I think, like,
they're
catering to because I don't think that's
they're in play.
Yeah.
They're there. They're going to be part of the platform in some way. Whereas before it'd be like, no, silly little socialist man, go away. You got to duck out. Go sit on an island. Enjoy the last few years.
I felt bad when I was I didn't watch the video they sent out on the gram or whatever, but I just want to thank all of you for the love and warm wishes that you sent to me. See you soon on the campaign trail.
Oh
Like,
my
stop,
God,
Bernie.
the campaign
Dude.
trail, get off!
Yeah. Does he have a
Dude.
family? What is his
Jane.
family?
He's got Jane. Well,
yeah, plain Jane.
Yeah, you might want to get back on the trail. I mean, but
get away
Jane's
from
there.
Jane.
Jane says, "Thank you all so much. It really made a difference." No, the stents they put in really made a difference. I'm not sure the well wishes did. He's trying to convey a message to voters desperately that he's back at full strength after doctors said he suffered a heart attack on Tuesday. The staff revealed that shocking news Friday. Sanders was rushed to a hospital in Vegas after complaining of chest discomfort. Staffers initially stated he had a blocked artery, but no. He underwent a medical procedure to have 2 stents inserted into his chest. In a statement, they said after 2.5 days in the hospital, I feel great. And after taking a short time off, I look forward to getting back to work for the American people. He will now fly back to his home in Vermont for some downtime. I thought he felt great. He just took 3 days off to hang out in the hospital.
Doctor's orders.
Yeah, but he was eating applesauce for 3 days. Let's go, man. You said you feel great. Let's get back out. You just said, see you back out on the campaign trail.
He's crazy. Hang it up, man. Hang it up.
He's not revealed the exact date he will resume his campaign, but has declared he'll be back on stage for the next debate, which is October 15th. Yeah, he was still politically active in his hospital bed. Doesn't that speak volumes, man? When you can't shut it off.
Well, Bernie's only 78. I thought he was in his 80s as well.
Well, he will be by the time he'd be.
Spry young chick like Bernie Sanders at 78.
he's still politically active from his hospital bed, using his medical incident to advocate for his Medicare for All proposal. I'm fortunate to have great health care and great doctors and nurses helping me recover. None of us know when a medical emergency might affect us, and no one should fear going bankrupt if it occurs. Medicare for all. So, former President Jimmy Carter, remember, he turned 95 this past week. Said he hopes there's an age limit for the presidency.
Think about that. Wait, you just said that he turned 95?
Yeah.
Like, and we're saying, like, he seemed like he was president when? 20
70s?
years? Right. Like,
If I were just 80 years old, if I was 15 years younger, I don't believe I could undertake the duties I experienced when I was president. And he would know.
Yeah.
It's not gotten any easier, but yeah, it's
Biden's only 76, man.
yeah.
I was thinking both of them were in their low 80s.
No, they will be. They'd be the oldest. They'd be the oldest to ever win.
How old's Trump, man?
Trump's like 74? 3?
Yeah, 73.
Yeah.
Look at that. 70. Elizabeth Warren's 70.
Is she 70 now?
Yeah, so she's 70. Let's say she's up against Trump. 70 and 73. They're throwing Biden. 76 versus 73.
it should be
That's two
60,
old
I think.
fucking
I think
men
it
up
should
there.
be 60, man.
Yeah.
We sit here talking about, dude, people retire. When do people retire? At 60? Is that when people...
65.
65? But those are like from fucking... I mean, that could be working at just an office desk job. Like,
Why
running the fucking-
is it that we haven't had... Well, I guess Obama would have counted. He was younger.
G-Dub was younger.
Was he?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You serve 8 years in those positions, and yeah, they come out quite ragged.
Yeah, they sure do. But 35. You have to be 35 before you can run. Mm-hmm. Do you think there'd be some savage 35-year out there that's just like totally thinking differently, that could just storm politics, change the way it's done? These fucking crotchety-ass old people, in their dumb suits.
Yeah, I know.
Collapsing every 10 days on the trail. Hillary Clinton's going down every 10 days.
Buttigieg is 37. That's your guy, Mike.
Yeah.
If you want young and
I like
gay,
Peter.
you want
Peter,
young and gay,
please,
Pete's your guy.
Peter, please. I like Pete. I like Yang.
Do you?
Yeah, I like Andy Yang. He wants to stop clipping dicks, man.
What do you like about Pete?
He's gay.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a nice guy.
I like how different Yang is. How just
Don't be fooled by the non-tie.
I know.
Jimmy. Don't fall for that trap.
Yeah, even as just dumb as that is, it's kind of refreshing to see somebody just do something a little different.
Like
The Yang gang.
I think Yang and Buttigieg are sincere, honest guys. I don't believe with much of what they
I'd
believe in.
say Buttigieg less than Yang,
Maybe.
but
I
that's
think-
my take on it at least. But Yang, I think, is 100% sincere.
Yeah. Well, I think Buttigieg is too. There's nothing that I've seen like it. Like I see right fucking through Beto O'Rourke. Like Beto O'Rourke is so full of shit and such a piece of shit.
Such a lightweight,
Such
too.
a pussy fucking loser. See right through that snake oil salesman. Same with Cory Booker. Kamala Harris is a fraud
Oh,
as well.
it's
She's
awful.
gone. Never going anywhere. Sorry.
Yeah,
Kamala
Buttigieg is
fans.
smart. That's the thing about
Yeah.
him,
And gay.
And gay.
It'd be a good thing for this country. Do a lot of healing.
37 and gay.
Yep.
What do you think, E?
Yeah, for sure. I think there should. I really do think it should be 60 at least. Like, I don't think that you should be
What,
a
you should-
president
you
past
can't-
60. Yeah.
Oh, past 60.
Past 60. Or
It's age discrimination. That's a felony, I believe. You could get sued for that, right, Jay? I don't know if it's a felony, but
well, I
mean,
don't know how you would. I'm sure
It's not
you
a
could,
crime.
you could make rules for the president of the United
But if
States.
E outwardly says, "I'm not voting for these old because they're old," couldn't those people sue him for his vote by declaring
no,
openly
this is not- I'm not
that this
hiring-
is,
this
this
isn't a hiring
age? Yes,
process.
you are. You're hiring the president. You're
my
one
gosh.
of
That's not how it
a few
works.
100 million. But just saying, it's age discrimination. E.
I'm okay with
against
that.
the elderly. Yeah, I wouldn't want. Honestly, I wouldn't feel comfortable if I was on Nantucket having Bernie at the wheel, driving around. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, ugh.
I wonder when the last time
someone else
Bernie
to drive
Sanders
him
has
around.
driven a car. Think about
Bernie
that.
probably not that
boy.
long ago. He
No.
did have a pretty modest life in Vermont.
Okay.
I mean, he got all his money
Well, some of these
recently from
people-
writing his book.
Okay.
That's where he turned it into it. Because I remember looking at, because I was gonna fucking burn this guy at the stake when he was just like, these rich people getting richer, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, what's your fucking worth, sir?
Okay, Joe Biden.
$500,000.
When do you think Joe Biden's driven a car the last time?
Good question.
He was Amtrak
Really
Joe
good
for a long
question.
time, wasn't he?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Years.
Wouldn't that be funny to find out when the last? Like, what if it was like seriously 10 years? Like, you know what I mean? He's had a driver that's
This afternoon, he was at 13 in Orchard,
yeah, right.
trying to turn left, or was it right?
Right.
I don't know. It'd be weird, though, to be at a stoplight and see Joe Biden in his Tercel. You know what I mean? Like
I
sitting
know,
there with a
but-
blinker on, just like, hey, how's it going, folks?
Big teeth.
Big teeth falling out, wearing a sweatshirt. Hey, guys.
But there's something-
Biden
I just-
2020 sticker.
I don't know. There's just when I think about it now, there's something to that. Like if it's been 10 years since he's even like been in a car and had to do things.
Yeah. Little out of touch, right?
Right.
Hey, Joe, how much is a gallon of milk? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pull one of those.
Well, anyway. Should we, I don't know, do some of these stories. They're best saved for tomorrow. Not on God's day.
Let's get to
On
some
a
email.
holy day. All right, let's do that.
Before we do that, hey, get a 2-pack of My Pillow's premiums for $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which is the lowest price ever offered on podcast, radio, or TV.
Yes.
Of course, this offer is only available at mypillow.com. Use promo code TDC for the very best discount.
Whose pillow? My pillow.
What's
Newberg.
Newberry? Yeah, okay. Ron writes in. Look, listen. What up, fags? First, Jay. Put away that red pen. You won't be needing it. A little bit.
Oh, boy.
Finally got caught up after being 50-plus shows behind.
What?
How do you do it, Ron? How do you fall behind 50 shows, number one? And then how do you find the time to get back in?
You double speed us.
Yeah, there you go.
That's probably one way people do it.
I've never listened to anyone on double speed.
No, me either.
I've accidentally hit it, and it's freaked me out, you know?
Yeah. I know some people do like 1.5
Okay.
just to get further ahead, but
Got it. Finally got caught up, and a few things that need to be said, says Ron. One, serious bone to pick with you, Jay. The word is versus, not verse. It's not the Lions versus the Cowboys. A verse is in a poem. A versus is in a contest.
I think he's right.
Stop saying verse. I don't remember doing that, but I apologize if I did, Ron.
So
I will
what-
say this. Verse is kind of a term that is new to, I think, my kids' generation. And I remember this early on, them sitting around, they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to verse John next. And I'd be like, you're going to verse him? Yeah, I'm going to play him next. You're going to verse him. And then I heard it amongst other kids, not my kids, you know, and in other places. And I'm like, where did this come from? It really is a term that kids use. Like, yeah, who's going to verse him next?
Really?
Yes.
I wonder where they picked that up. Like,
I don't know, man.
So
Like,
is
what
it just they
TV
don't?
show? What sport were they watching? What YouTube content creator started this
They're
bullshit?
too young for Joe versus the volcano, right?
Right.
Movie like we would watch it. It was like
Joe versus the volcano.
Cowboys versus the Lions, right? I mean, we would see that a lot. Like
But you'd say like Cowboys are playing the Lions. You wouldn't go.
The Cowboys are
they're gonna.
versing.
The Cowboys are gonna verse the Lions.
yeah,
But I'm telling you, that generation says that. It's weird. So maybe I flipped into that mode in my defense. I don't know, Ron.
yeah.
But I will correct it. Number
Noted.
2, I definitely disagree with Jay on the ugly game. Soccer is boring, in all caps. Here are just two
ugly
reasons.
game.
Here are just 2 reasons. He only offers 2.
all he
First,
needs.
no one knows when the game is over. What's this seemingly random and capricious adding time crap? Second, scoring is so rare that it seems like every mundane goal, bicycle kick or not, gets listed on ESPN's top 10. Meanwhile, most of the other sports are trying to increase offense. Maybe if they cut the size of the field, yeah, I said field, pitch is a stupid thing to call it, in half, then it might get more interesting. Okay, point taken. Number 3, now for Eric. He's got to find a way to quit saying that damn word he says instead of put. Ron, you're late to the party here,
Yeah,
man.
this
The
has
put
been-
butt thing has been
Hashed
One
and
that's been
rehashed.
happening since 2000, since like for my entire life. So it's
Interestingly,
not something
though,
that's just
It came up today.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but Mike caught it today in one of the things you pulled up.
Yeah.
They misspelled put.
Put with
as
butt.
But. That's how he does it. That's just how he does it, Ron. He says, I can't even figure out how to spell it. I would normally stick up for him, I especially hate when you guys tell him, yes, that's right, instead of providing him the correct pronunciation or whatever when he's wrong.
Well,
But this
we
one is
would
annoying as hell. Cut it out, Isis.
Why
How do
would
you
we
spell
do?
it?
We
It's
would
pretty easy.
never do that.
I know.
We correct you all the time when he's wrong. We inform him what he did wrong.
We're here to help.
Of course we
It's
are.
pretty easy to spell. I don't know what he's talking about. P-U-T. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Say it.
But it.
Oh, God damn it. That's
that was a good one. That was a good. That was a put it. Yeah, put it.
I don't mean to say. I really don't though.
I know.
It's just how
It's a glitch.
Yeah.
it's a glitch.
You could ask. Like I said, I always said
Do
that.
you do it with other words? Like I'm trying to think of other like.
I don't know, but you can ask Chubbs about. Like you could ask Chubbs about it. He's made fun of me about it since high school, since cross country.
Like
I mean,
pootie tang or something. Would you say like booty tang?
No, I don't think so.
Booty tang?
I don't even know what pootie tang. Poo tang.
Bootang. Bootang.
Number 4 on Ron's list of hatred.
I'm glad he emailed
Ron's
that.
list of hatred.
Yeah.
Number 4, Mike, you were going to get off scot-free, but no. And, dude, he spelled Scott correctly.
Fuck, I was going to
Yeah, he
sting him on
gotcha.
that. God damn it. He
Spell
one-teed it?
Yes, he one-teed it.
Son of a bitch.
S-C-O-T. This son, I know.
He's good. Oh, he's good.
Really good. But no, you had to go and say amperstamp a couple of shows ago. Really? Couldn't you think of ampersand? I mean, if you ever DuckDuckGo as much as amper, the first thing that comes up is ampersand. So maybe you can remember this the next time Isis can't think of how to pronounce something. Let those
First
in glass
off-
houses, Mike.
I bet if you did amper, it would think you meant Pampers. It
Isis,
would pull up diapers or
please
something.
indulge us, Isis.
Put
Amper?
it up here,
You know what? If that's the biggest criticism I have,
We're going to erase does Joe Biden have a driver's license and go amper. And Ron is correct. Ampersand comes up first.
well, yeah,
Followed
because
by ampere definition, amperage.
yeah, and then ampersand makes a stunning
Ampere's
recovery
off.
and comes back into the mix.
After Ampere's law, you're right. Ampersand symbol.
Takes a few off, and then ampersand
Ampere
sign.
units, ampere to watt.
Dude, it's got a
ampersand
hotel.
sign.
I mean, it's got its own hotel. Well, of course, it's going to pop up on the Google machine fast. But
The ampersand hotel.
that's 5-star in London.
That's lovely. I'll be damned. It's a goddamn 5-star hotel, ampersand,
Really?
on South Kensington.
Hotel.
You know, if that's the biggest crime I've committed on this show over the last 50 episodes, mixing up amperstamp and or ampersand and amperstamp, is that what I did?
Yeah.
I can live with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know. That's not bad,
mean,
right?
it's not
If
the
that's
end of the
all
world.
Ron could call out after.
Damn,
Yeah.
dude, that's it right there.
lovely.
That's the
Stunning.
Ampersand Hotel.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'd like to stay there.
So would I.
Let's do it. Class field trip. Where's that? London? Where are we going?
Yeah, sure. You can go beat up that dude while you're there.
Hell yeah, if he's still alive, son of a
Meeting.
bitch.
I said a meal. Poor old
Fuck
guy.
Write it
Mr.
off for the
Pickering.
show.
Dude, I challenged him to a bare knuckle and he hyperventilated. Sorry.
Why yeah?
Well, yeah.
Anyway, hope you gents are regularly getting your fill of the rural neighborhood out there. See, this guy's triggering. This guy's
Yeah.
just, he's a fucking troll
He's
this
a
round.
bully. Okay.
Since it's cider mill season and you're so close to the Franklin cider mill. In fact, if you were ever generous enough to invite me for a studio visit, I would be sure to bring lots of cider and warm donuts. You think this is the way you get invited
After that
for
email?
after your list of
Well,
hatred, Ron?
I'll have you know, I was by the pretentious Franklin Cider Mill today.
Yeah, how's it look?
Busy.
Pretentious.
Your
smug?
ducks are doing well.
Good.
Smug as ever. They're
Is
selling
Mitch Albom's stupid frozen ice still
Yeah, it's
there?
there.
probably yeah.
Taking away money from the
Locals.
locals?
I go by there a lot, but on weekends. No. I
Dude, avoid
avoid that corner.
Yeah.
It's
The
gonna take you
cars, the
10
foot
minutes.
traffic.
Yes.
All of it. Dude, it's, you know what? It's like, okay, I'll have a gallon of cider and a dozen donuts. That'll be $642. By the way, we don't take credit cards.
right.
It's all cash. It has to be cash. And it's like, fuck, man. I wanted to come. I literally had $50 in my wallet. And it was like, whew, barely made it under there. Got a whole gallon of cider and 12
Where are those
donuts
donuts at?
upstairs. You want one? Yeah, I got a couple
Yes.
left to eat.
The only donut I like, really, anymore. It's the only donut I'll ever have anymore once in a while.
They're spectacular.
I know.
Nate writes in, gentlemen, as I was catching up on some episodes over the weekend, I thought I'd share some insight on a topic that was discussed on episode 1359 regarding a lengthy discussion of a plate-to-mouth food delivery utensil, specifically the metal spork.
Yes, I remember
The
it well.
metal spork, gentlemen. Roughly 7 years ago, says Nate, I purchased a set of metal sporks. The Optimus Titanium Spork, to be exact.
Wow.
Use this, please. Indulge us. Optimus Titanium Spork. To circumvent the hassle of having to switch between a fork and spoon while enjoying a soup and salad for dinner, says Nate. It's genius.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years to when my boys were big enough to eat with adult utensils, I would always give them the sporks to eat with, which they loved. Now, at present day, whenever my wife sets the table and mistakenly puts out the normal fork, knife, and spoon setup, she ends up like the mom from Christmas Story, unable to sit and enjoy her hot meal until she removes the forks and spoons and retrieves the metal sporks
yeah.
out of the drawer. They have been by far one of the best purchases I have ever made. Nate.
Wow.
that it?
I believe it. It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense to have the spoon for. I mean, what is the fear? You're going to stab your tongue eating soup?
I know.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that foldable? I'll be goddamn
It
if
is.
that's not foldable.
I'm cool with that on a camping trip, but not in your regular drawer.
Yeah, no. Look at the 2349 titanium spork. That's
Dude,
a
that's
beautiful spork.
Gorgeous spork.
Does it have like a rubber grip?
I don't know. Click on that one. E. Get it at Walmart. Someone needs to send us one of these. Jay, I need one of those sporks. That exact one.
The Optimus Titanium, though, is what Nate has, and he swears by it. It's an
Really?
interesting.
What's going on here? What happened?
I don't know.
Wait, the Optimus Titanium, it folds up. I don't
it
want
does.
a spork that folds
it
up.
It's foldable, Nate.
I don't know what's going
You suggesting we buy foldable sporks?
My dad used to always say, the more moving parts, the more things can break.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? And so I don't want a spork with too many moving parts.
Yeah, all of a sudden you have half a spork because the other side broke off.
Yeah, one
Oh,
hinge
that
comes
shit.
loose, and all of a sudden you got
No.
a fucking wobbly spork.
Damn it, the hinge on my spork broke.
Dude, where do I get a replacement spring for
Yeah.
my spork hinge?
No, I can just see it now. Like we start the episode. Jay, how you doing? I'm well to quite well. How are you, Mike? Well, let me tell you.
Listen,
today, boy, did my day fuck up, man.
Dude,
really hard.
I went to stab a piece of steak last night, and my spork bent backwards.
What?
Like it had a broken back, and I'm literally, it looks like someone's trying to fucking cook heroin on it with one of those bent sporks. It's bent back. The hinge is fucked up. I tried super gluing it, Jay, duct taping it. I wish I never would have purchased a spork with a hinge on it.
See,
I
we need
knew
to
this could
avoid
happen.
that discussion.
That'll go for 20
discussion-
minutes, dude. If it
that
happens-
discussion can't happen.
My
Jesus.
blood is boiling now, and it hasn't even happened. I don't even own a spork.
No foldable spork. Absolutely not.
Thank you. No breakaway spork.
No.
No switchblade sporks. Get that spoon and fork off my table. I brought my own.
Hey, I'd like to also note that Twin Peaks wants to give a TDC listener a $100 gift card. So here's the deal. You just got to show them support on Instagram during the month of October. Simply post on Instagram a picture, including Twin Peaks food and or beer. You'll be entered to win. You have to tag the Detroit Cast, however, and you also have to tag the Twin Peaks location you're visiting, whether it's Livonia, Southgate, Madison Heights, or Toledo. Again, just Instagram a picture of Twin Peaks food or beer, and you are in the contest.
Perfect. Love it.
We'll save the rest for tomorrow.
Let's do it. I got my Niners tomorrow night.
Oh, really? Who are they
Monday Night
playing?
Football. Cleveland Browns. Fuck the Browns.
The Browns are garnering a lot of attention this year.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. They're not as good as people thought they were going to be, and people are starting to nosedive. The Niners are favored tomorrow, but it is at home, so look forward to that. At least I will. I know none of you will, but have a good rest of the day. I enjoy your new car. Maybe take us for a spin at some point this week. Show it off a bit.
Sure.
All right. Have a good rest of the day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.